One Piece is maybe one of the longest running series of all time, which is still loved by many fans. But before the story comes to an end, there are many mysteries that needs to be revealed. Out of those many mysteries, one which is talked about very prominently is the Void Century. The Void Century is a 100-year period 900 to 800 years before the events of One Piece, and is called as a void because in that there's no information about it. The only records from the Void Century are the indestructible poneglyphs, massive slabs inscribed with a language fewer recognizes and even fewer can read. Because of this huge mystery surrounding the Void Century, obviously there are very few people who actually knows the truth about it. So in this video, we will have a look over 14 characters who knows the truth about the Void Century in the One Piece world. On the 14th number, the character name is Kozuki Toki or Ne Amatsuki. Kozuki Toki was the wife of the daimyo of the Kuri region Kozuki Oden and was the mother of Momonosuke and Hiyori. She was born around 830 years before the present day. By the time she was 26-year-old, she jumped forward in time with her devil fruit abilities and arrived at 30 years before the present when she met Oden and stayed with him for 10 years until he was executed and she was killed during the destruction of Oden Castle. As we all know that she came from 800 years ago, this is a big proof that she knew exactly what happened in the Void Century, and maybe because what happened 800 years ago, she escaped to the future to stay alive. I have a detailed video about this where I talked about different proofs and speculations that shows us why Kozuki Toki was from the Void Century. If you wanna watch that video, click on the I button right now and watch that one. On the 13th number, the character name is Sengoku the Buddha. Sengoku is the former fleet admiral of the Marines, succeeding Kong and preceding Sakazuki. Sometimes during the time skip, he became an inspector general. He was also one of the major figures alongside with Whitebeard, Shiki and Monkey D. Garp during the times when Goldie Roger was still alive, and still continues to be in the present even after his retirement from the Marines. He raised Rosinante like his own son. Not much is known about Sengoku's early life other than he is originally from the South Blue and joined the Marines 56 years ago along with Garp and Suru at the age of 23. Over the years, Sengoku rise up through the ranks of the Marines, eventually achieving the rank of Admiral at some point before the Great Age of Pirates. But one thing is for sure, that he knows everything about the Void Century as being one of the top members of Marines for so many years. On the 12th number, the character is Crocus. Crocus is the doctor and the caretaker of Whale Laboon as well as one of the Twin Cape lighthouse that guides ships coming down from the reverse mountain into the Grand Line. Though he was a lighthouse keeper for most of his life, he spent 3 years as doctor serving as a part of Goldie Roger's crew, the only known crew to ever reach the Laugh Tale and the end of the New World in the Grand Line 2. On the final island, they found a treasure that was left behind 800 years ago by Joy Boy and learned the truth about the Void Century, ancient weapons and the meaning of D. And that's why Crocus is one of the people in the One Piece world who knows about the truth about Void Century and is one of the people who is still alive. On the 11th number, the character is Kozuki Oden and the son of former shogun Kozuki Sukiyaki. He was the husband of Kozuki Toki and the father of Momonosuke and Hiyori. And as I said before, Kozuki Toki came from the Void Century by time-traveling devil fruit. For 5 years of his life, Oden set out to sea and became a pirate, serving as the 2nd Division commander of the Whitebeard Pirates and later becoming a pirate of the Roger Pirates. After finding Joy Boy's treasure on Laugh Tale, Oden journeyed home and made it a goal to open Wano's border to the world by finally taking his father's place as shogun. As the descendants of the Kozuki family, Oden inherited from his ancestors the knowledge and the skills to read poneglyphs and to write its ancient language. He was a capable philologist, able to inscribe Roger's message on the golden belfry bell in the same ancient language, as well as deciphering all of the poneglyphs that the Roger Pirates has found, particularly the road poneglyphs which proved vital in the Roger Pirates' success in the locating and sailing to the Laugh Tale. On the 10th number, the character name is Scopper Gabban. Scopper Gabban was a member of the Roger Pirates. Gabban appears to have been a prominent figure in terms of strength and authority, as he was shown leading the charge alongside Rayleigh during the crew's last battle with the Whitebeard Pirates. In the anime, Gabban was shown to be strong enough to be clashed with even his crewmate Kozuki Oden, one of the strongest ever samurai from Wano. On the final islands, just like other crew members of the Roger, he also learned the truth about the Void Century, ancient weapons, and the meaning of D. On the 9th number, the character is Silver Rayleigh. Silver Rayleigh, also known as the Dark King, is an extremely powerful and famous retired pirate who formerly served as the first mate of the legendary Roger pirates and known as the right hand of the Pirate King. Rayleigh is one of the major figures along with Whitebeard, Shiki, Monkey D. Garp, Sengoku, and Kong from the times when Pirate King was alive. After the disbandment of the Roger Pirates and the execution of Goldie Roger, Rayleigh became a coating mechanic at the Sabondi archipelago. As indicated by him at Sabondi, he discovered the true history of Raftel. Rayleigh offered to confide to Nico Robin the events that occurred in the Void Century. However, she refused the proposal since she wanted to journey with the crew to find the history for herself. On the 8th number, the character is Goldie Roger. Goldie Roger, more commonly known as Gold Roger, was a legendary pirate who, as a captain of the Roger Pirates, held the title of the Pirate King and owned the legendary treasure known as One Piece. He was also the lover of the Portuguese the Rock and the biological father of the Portuguese the S. Roger was famed as a man who did no one thought that would be possible. He conquered the Grand Line and amassed a vast fortune. Afterwards, knowing that he would soon die from an incurable disease, Roger disabandoned his crew before turning himself in to be executed. With the information of every road poneglyph at hand, Roger and his crew ultimately made it to the elusive final island of the Grand Line. There, not only did they learn about the truth of the Void Century, the ancient weapons, and the will of the D, but they also stumbled upon Joy Boy's treasure. Roger and his crewmates reacted to this discovery with a burst of laughter. Roger professed his curiosity about Joy Boy, considering the circumstances behind the past figures as funny. Inspired by the Joy Boy story, Roger bestows the final island with the name of Laugh-Tale. On the 7th number, the character name is Kaido. Kaido of the Beast, or renowned as the world's strongest creature, is the captain of the Beast Pirates and one of the 4 emperors ruling over the New World. He is also the father of Yamato. From his base on Onigashima, Kaido has occupied Wano country along with his crew and ruled over the Wano country. In chapter 1014 of the One Piece manga, it is revealed that Kaido has knowledge of Joy Boy. What's significant here that Kaido is the first person to mention Joy Boy without having to read poneglyphs. Probably he learned of Joy Boy through rocks the Xebec. According to Sengoku, Xebec dabbled in the world's greatest taboo, and there's no greater taboo for the world's government than the true history. On the 6th number, the character name is Whitebeard. Edward Newgate, more commonly known as Whitebeard, was the captain of the Whitebeard Pirates and was the previous wielder of the power of the Gura Gura no Mi, and was widely known for his disputed title of the strongest man in the world, and also known as the man closest to the One Piece, after Goldie Roger's death. Not long before his death, Roger met with Whitebeard on an island to have what seemed to be an entirely cordial drinking session, with Roger even offering to give him the location of Laugh-Tale to Whitebeard. And when Whitebeard asked Roger about the will of D, Roger willingly told him about it. Moments before his death, Whitebeard mentioned something that turned the world upside down. And that proves indeed that Whitebeard knows about the truth of Void Century and also the will of D. On the 5th number, the character name is Shanks. Red-haired Shanks, commonly known as just Red Hair, is the chief of the red-haired pirates and one of the 4 emperors that rule over the New World. Shanks is the former member of the legendary Roger Pirates, the only pirate band to successfully conquer the Grand Line. Starting out his pirate career on set on the crew of Apprentice alongside with Buggy before forming his own crew after Goldie Roger's death. Shanks is currently the most capable person who could find the One Piece. He is a former member of the Roger Pirates and knows the truth about Void Century, the meaning of D, and the ancient weapons, although he has not been at the Laugh-Tale yet. On the 4th number, the character name is Rocks the Xebec. Rocks the Xebec, commonly known simply as Rocks, was the captain of Rocks Pirate. He was prominent 40 years ago, before the Pirate King Goldie Roger came into power. Xebec was considered to be the most formidable rival of Pirate King Goldie Roger. He was so fearsome, it took both Roger and Monkey D. Garp working together to finally defeat him. Rox the Xebec's defeat was also what caused Garp to become a legend and to be known as the hero of the Marines, showing how much of a threat the world government considered Rox to be. Aside from the raw strength, Rox seems to be very intelligent and knowledgeable man, and he was in studying many subjects that were considered as taboo, able to unravel many of the world's government's secrets, which led the world government to decide to erase his name from the history. On the third number, the character name is Gorosei. The five elders are a group of highest ranking celestial dragons that make up for the head state of the world government. They essentially hold the greatest authority over the entirety of the world, and the only exception being the mysterious Imu-sama who they answer to. Their influence over the world government and its military is paramount and limitless, including command over the Marines, Cypher Pole, and even 7 warlords of the sea prior to their abolishment, making them one of the main antagonist group of the series. So far, none of their names have been revealed, and it is unknown how they became the leaders of the world government or how long they have been ruling it. Since they are uppermost power in the government, they certainly knows about the war that took place 900 or 800 years ago in the world of One Piece. They have tried to bury the truth about history time and time again, implying that they are trying to hide something that they have committed. During the destruction of Ohara, Gorosei ordered the execution of Professor Clover since he knew too much about the Void Century. On the second number, the character name is Imu-sama. Imu is an individual bearing the highest authority within the world government, whom even the 5 elders bow down to, and the current holders of the empty throne. However, Imu's existence is kept a secret within the world government and to the rest of the world too. Little is known about Imu's personality, but they have developed a particular interest in Monkey D. Luffy, Marshall D. Teach, and Shirahoshi. Undoubtedly, if the 5 elders knows about the Void Century, then Imu-sama definitely knows about it too. On the first number, the character name is Joy Boy. Joy Boy was an extremely relevant figure of the Void Century who played an important role in the history of Fishman Island and left behind a certain item of unimaginable value in the last islands of the Grand Line. He was first mentioned in the Ryugu Poneglyph, read by Nico Robin while at the Sea Forest. Goldie Roger declared that he wished that two could have lived during the same period upon learning the true history on Laugh Tale. When the time comes, the Joy Boy is expected to appear again in this time. The true meaning of this expectation still remains unknown. So, these were the 13 characters who knew the reality and answers behind all of the mysteries surrounding the Void Century. What are your thoughts about this video? Are there any characters that you would like to add in this list? If there are any that I missed, then make sure to comment down below and let me know about your thoughts in the comment section down below. And that was for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel because I post daily anime content about top 10 top 5 listings, anime reviews, recommendations, news, theories, and all sorts of anime content on daily basis. So if you enjoyed, please subscribe, and that was it. And I'll see you in the next one. Sayonara.